Insiders, when we say I'll text you when I get home, we don't always say the rest out loud. We don't say, because I'm Black and the world has shown me too many times that getting home isn't guaranteed. Tonight, we name that truth. Across the country, Black students and Black travelers walk into sundown towns, rural back roads, unfamiliar campuses, traffic stops, hotel lobbies where the air feels different, where a simple wrong turn can become a headline, or worse, silence. Black Buddy was born from that ache, from a Black mother who looked at her son, looked at the news, looked at missing reports, and said, no, not my child, not our people, not like this. This isn't just an app, it's vetted, invite only safety network built by us for us. We are one button can call a trusted buddy within miles, not states, where community becomes the infrastructure the system never built for us, where I'm on my way isn't just a wish, it's a protocol. This conversation will be a safe a space to talk about fear, courage, accountability, and the future of Black safety, a space to talk and what it means to finally have a network that says, you are not alone. Your safety is not a privilege. Your life is worth organizing an entire system around. Take a breath. If you've ever worried about a loved one on the road, on campus, or in a town that didn't feel right, this conversation is for you. So tonight, we will welcome the founder, the amazing, the omnipotent Miss Marchelle. Welcome, and thank you for joining Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, just give us a little background about who Marchelle is and how did you go about creating BlackBuddy?
Okay, so I'm no spring chicken. I'm in my 50s and I have I went to college. I was in the military. So I am a vet. I worked in corporate America, got my, PMP certifications, Lean Six Sigma, which is like statistics and stuff like that. And I worked in corporate America for eons. And then I was part of the major layoff when we have this incoming,
Mhm.
administration. And you know what? It's actually a good thing because, when you're trying to create your own business, and that's Power Up, you see the name Power Up, but I'll talk about that later. What happened was if you're not inundated with work, you start to things you can think more, right? Because you're not dealing with the traffic and everything else. But on top of that, I the reality is I was going through a divorce. I'm divorced right now. And I need to transition between here and Jamaica so I can take care of my parents because they're aging. But I leave behind a son who's 22 years old.
Mhm.
And so it's been bothering me for a long time, especially what happened with Rashid Carter. I don't know if you know about him I think it was in Mississippi. That was back in 2022, where he was unfortunately basically chased down by some good old boys. And he was running for a good 6 hours because I looked at the time when he
Oh,
called his mother to when they captured him on some flock cameras or like an outdoor, store camera. It was 6 hours of running, and that last time they caught him he had no shirt on,
mm,
and he told his mother, he said, if anything happens to me, it's my boss. He was driving down, I believe, to Mississippi, I can't remember, or Tennessee, and he said if anything happened to me, it's my boss. He called his mother again because she's frantic. She's like, go to the police. He's saying there's like two truckloads of cars chasing him. He goes to the police station. The police station basically tells him, we can't do nothing for you. And he's like, I just need a ride over. They're like, we're not an Uber. and next minute he's missing. A month after that, a few months after that, whatever, they found his body all cut up. Um, they find his head decapitated off. I hate to say that, and his privates in his mouth. And the local authorities say it's animals or something like that.
Wow.
So that hit on my heart. And then what happened was then the Nolan Wells situation came about. And I'm basically like, going through this divorce, and I'm just like, I gotta, I gotta do something. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta do something. And so I was outside walking. That's when I meditate. I walked bare feet outside, and it was about 7 in the morning, and I was deep breathing. And I want to tell you, Miss Ty, I was just so angry. I was
Mm-hmm.
so viscerally angry, and I was hurt because I don't care what anyone says. It just came across like we're being hunted. And I was out there, and I was so angry. And everything happens for a reason, because I was supposed to meet up with a couple of girlfriends to go to some day party in Atlanta. It was like
Mm-hmm.
house music. But things happen. Didn't, they overslept, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, things happen. I do believe in synchronicities and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that, right? And so, because I would have been getting ready to go, I was walking outside. I was really upset. When you're so angry, you don't cry. You just wanna kind of like
Shake something.
fight.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wanna hurt. You wanna hurt somebody. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
hon, I called on the. I'm sorry. I called on the spirit,
Oh,
and
don't apologize for
of
that.
yeah, I called on the spirit of Rashid Carter. I thought about Jelani Day, who was what happened to him in college. And I was like, and the thing said, make an app, make an SOS app,
Wow. Just
get
like
the
this.
community together. Yeah, that's what it said. And when I tell you, because I'm glad I didn't go, I was on my computer, and I was like, I got to get this out. I was on my computer. I was writing notes. It was weird. It was just, I was getting this download, just a download of what I needed to do. And when I tell you, I stayed in my office that you see now from like 9 a.m. until about 4 in my PJs,
Wow.
in my pajamas. I hadn't washed my body yet, and I shower twice a day. I had not got out of there. I hadn't, I hadn't washed my body. I don't
Yeah,
want to use
yeah.
the word ASS. I was like, I gotta get this. I gotta get this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just downloading, and then I was putting things, asking stuff in chat so I could clear it together. And I was just and it was just, and I was saying, okay, I gotta make a website. I gotta make a website. If I'm serious about this, I gotta make. But the other thing is, if I don't do this and something happens,
Yeah.
I'm always going to wonder, because I thought if something happens, because I want to be able to, if I'm in Jamaica, I can see where my son is.
Mm.
I want to be able to see where he is. And if anything happens, I can ping to some vetted community folks. Because I'm thinking, going back to Rasheem Carter, if there was a vetted network while he's running and he's got fear in his body, if there was some folks that could come to him like within an hour,
Mm-hmm.
he would have been alive.
Wow.
That's how this came up.
Wow. And so I would take from those shares, those heartbreaking shares, that those were the moments where fear pushed you from concern into action of creating the app.
No,
No?
it was
So
not
okay, so
fear.
okay.
It was anger, and
Oh,
it was, and I hate to say this word,
no,
it
don't hate
was
it. Just say it.
hatred. It
Oh,
was
wow.
anger. I've had enough. It's kind of like, because I've already had two people say, Marshall, what will happen if, your life is in danger? And I said, you can kill the creator, but you can't kill the creation.
Oh, love
And
that.
I said, I come from a lineage of people that had to uprise against slavery. That's how slavery ended. It had nothing to do with any benevolence. They were sick of seeing plantation masters and overseers being killed, okay? And they risked their lives, and it was everywhere. It was in the Caribbean, it was here. That's why they ended slavery.
Mm.
All this crap about the North and the South and the British, that's a bunch of bull crap. They ended it because folks were getting viscerally angry and they were willing to die.
Mm.
Okay? And I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but
Sure.
I'm saying right now, Miss Ty, I'm done with the prayers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with the marching. I'm done with the damn voting. And I'm done with the damn talking and hearing bullcrap on, social media sites, TV, news shows and stuff like that. That's not changing anything.
No.
It's not changing anything. Going and marching after the fact is not changing anything. There's still more of us hanging as strange fruit. And so
Wow.
I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm just trying to save our lives. That's
Mm.
what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I love that. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So, for listeners hearing about this for the first time, because this is uniquely you who created, what is BlackBuddy and what does it actually do?
Okay, so BlackBuddy is a vetted community safety network system. Okay, so
Mhm.
what it does is it allows you, to, if you're in a situation, say, a situation like a truck driver, like,
Mhm.
a truck driver, and he's in a sundown town because we do have them. And if you don't know what a sundown town is, just drive to those counties that had those Confederate flags up, okay? That's a sundown town.
Mm.
If it's not even, if you need to remember, go back to the elections and they had those Confederate flags and, you know, the administration flag and all these flags bellowing. That's a sign. That's saying we don't like you. All right.
Mhm.
So if you're in one of those areas and you may not, your car breaks down. All right. And it doesn't necessarily have to be even in a Sunday. It could be in a part of town that you're like, I'm not comfortable here. But your family can't come to you because they're 500, 700 miles away.
Mm.
We'll see if we can connect. And there's a part in Black Buddy that I included, and this was Wednesday morning, called Family Connect. It's like Life 360 plus. They can reach out to any buddies that's connected with buddy members to that buddy, and they can ping them, all right, to say, you know what, especially if you've been driving and then next minute they don't see an update, and they don't see an update for about 45 minutes.
Mhm.
It's concerning. They could be texting the person, calling the person, they don't hear anything. So what you can do is you can ping, and then the vetted members, there's many ways to support, because not everybody feels like jumping in their car. I'm a single woman. I don't feel like doing that, but I may not mind. Or
Mhm.
you could be a person where you could be on the phone with them, assuring them. You could be contacting their family, talking to their family. You could be talking to the buddy members who maybe, if they're available, in transit to meet with that person, okay? Because the thing is, right now, they say 2/3 of Black people in America do not feel comfortable calling the police. I think that was based on data based on 2015. I believe that number is higher now.
I'm sure.
I really do. So
Mm.
what happens is, what Black Buddy does is it gives you this, well, I say vetted because you do have to go through a background ID. I got to make sure you are who you are. But I'm not strict about having a record, because most people do. Especially if you're Black, they're going to arrest you and charge you for something, okay? But I'm going to look at what your charges are, okay? I mean, if you're serial killer, you can't come in. Okay, I'm just being honest.
Right.
So we got to make sure that we can trust you, but also you have to be there for the community. Okay, so so the case is, we want to make sure though that if your family's 700 miles away,
Mhm.
like whether it's Rasheem Carter, or if you have a child who's in college and you don't hear from them because they're in the college campus, okay, something could happen. They could go out. You want to be able to see if you can ping some buddies around and they can like go and follow up. Your child could be just passed out asleep in their dorm room. Or B, they could have partied and drank too much and fell asleep in their car, which is not a comfortable thing, but you want to check on them to make sure they haven't been snatched up, that kind of stuff, because, they may be closer. It could be a 5-hour drive for you to get to them,
Mm.
okay? So that's what it is. It's about providing a support, a coordinated support to help monitor and follow up so that our safety is a little bit more secure.
Right. And now you mentioned the Life 360, and I'll add in kind of like the iPhone location that people uses, right? So
Hmm.
are there, what would be the main outside of the ping fundamental difference from those tools in reference to BlackBuddy?
Okay, so the difference with Family Connect, so you could see where your child is or wherever anyone's going. But again, and there's levels, okay?
Okay.
So you don't say you have a child and your child is a BlackBuddy member, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What they can do is they can still, even if you're not a member, they can still connect you to them. The only thing is you can't see the identity of the members, okay? So say for instance your child is in college in, I don't know, some other state,
Mm-hmm.
and they're driving back and you're monitoring them, and then next minute you don't see any more location movement. And so then you text, you don't hear anything because they're on the road, right? You're getting concerned. You text, you call, you still don't hear anything, okay? It's 30 minutes, it's 45 minutes now. You're really concerned, but you're here in Atlanta, you can't do much. So what you can do, unlike 360, you can see, and it will be just, you know how you have ways and you can see all the other little ways
Uh-huh.
around.
Uh-huh.
What this will be is you'll see circles and it'll just have like BB. You can send them a text. You can't call them because you're not a vetted member. You can't see who they are because only vetted members can see other vetted members
Mm.
within their radius, and that's for privacy matters. So you can ping them, you could text them and say, listen, my child is a BlackBuddy member, their name is, and you give them the government name because I need that for vetted members. You can't be
Mm.
a vetted member and have a nickname and then you show up because somebody's going to be like, oh, I don't know, that's not your name. Just like you can't have a avatar face because this is the comfort level. And so then you can ping them, they can ping you back. They may say, call me at this number. You could talk to them and say, my child is on their way to college. I saw that you're like about 5 miles away or 3 miles away. Do you mind going and checking? And they'll say, well, hold on, let me just bring a few people with me. And they're allowed to do that as long as you're okay with it and the buddy's okay with it, because it's all about security. And those buddy members are if they're not vetted members also, and this is key, they are responsible for their behavior so your child isn't harmed, as well as those people too, because they can be held accountable. So the reason why I say that, Miss Tyne, I had to think about it. Like, if somebody's car breaks down around the corner from me and it's 11 o'clock at night and it's dark, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel comfortable coming out there.
Right.
But I'm going to reach out to my neighbors, and they're not buddy members, but I can trust them. Two of them is from in the military, retired from the military. One of them, he's a country farm boy, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. To come to make sure you're okay. And there are other things that other folks can do. So we go out there to make sure you're okay, like your son, because we don't know if he fell in a ditch or something, that kind of stuff, blew a tire and he's just trying to figure it out. At least somebody could be with him. Some folks could be on the phone and they'll call you back and say, Miss Ty, we got with him. He fell down in a ditch. We're waiting for him until the tow truck comes, and someone could say, we're waiting for him until but he's okay. You know what I'm saying? Or they can, or if they can't, they talk to him on the phone. They talk to you. So this is how the the Family Connect works. You don't have that option with 360. All you can do is just see them.
Hmm.
And then once, if you don't see them no more, you not much you can do.
Right.
Who you gonna call? The popo?
No, you did. So,
I'm not saying you
mm,
can't call the
yeah,
police. I do have that option.
yeah.
That you because there may not be buddies around, but for many of us who are melanated, the police is typically the last options, unless it's in a heavily, you know, black city. Seriously,
Mhm.
I'm just being honest.
No, and that's what we want. We want honesty. We want real and raw on what's the reason behind the app and how it can help those in a
Hmm.
realistic state, right? State
Hmm.
being state of mind or situation, not necessarily
Hmm.
location. So, with that said, what part of your own story, if any of it, is woven into the DNA of this app?
What part of my own story?
Mhm. Or was it
But the only,
off of just the
the,
experiences you've seen?
I haven't. Well, you know what? I'm glad you said that. So, and it wasn't woven into. It wasn't woven in. What the key thing was really, my son and seeing other black boys his age, right? And
Mhm.
then I realized, I realized like during COVID, there was a woman in her 70s, 71 that was found unalived in a tree. And there were brothers in their 50s. And so I'm just like, this is systemic. This is systemic. And trust me, I've had near situations, but the good thing was I was aware, meaning I remember years ago, I think it was about 10 years ago, maybe, no, maybe 15 years ago, I was working for a company in Athens. I had to drive an hour and a half every day.
Mm.
And the quickest way was it was back in 2008. Yeah, that's when we had the other recession. So I had to take what I could get, right? And the the quickest way was to go back roads. The interstate was going to make it harder because of the traffic and everything else, right? So if you're taking back roads, you're going through these sleepy towns, right,
Mhm.
with their
Mhm.
Confederate flags. And so my car, I was having issues with my car. My car basically, I had to pull into a gas station. Thank Jesus, it was a gas station, and it was, rush hour. So I was there. I called AAA, and I'm gonna tell you something. AAA now today takes about 3+ hours to come
Oh
out
yeah.
to you. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. AAA back then was about an hour and a half, and so I parked my car there. Had an SUV at the time, and after about an hour, this guy pulls up. It's like he had a tow truck, right? And it's a small gas station. It's not like the ones on the interstate, but there's
Mhm.
cars coming into it because it's rush hour.
Just a
And
little
he
local
come
scene.
with, yeah, yeah, he come with his Deliverance self. Have you ever seen the movie Deliverance?
Hmm.
You never seen the movie Deliverance?
I don't think so. Now I'm gonna watch it.
Girl, that movie was made in 1970 something.
No, I
And
don't think I've seen
from watching that movie when I first came to the States was my wake up call. That's
Deliverance.
how I
I'm writing that down
yeah,
right
deliver.
now.
Yeah, it was two things. I didn't need social media for weight. It was two things. It was Roots, watching Roots in the UK, and Deliverance when I came here. And that told me how sundown towns and things like that. No joke. So he come over and he was like, "Are you okay, ma'am? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, you look like you've been here a long time." And he had a friend with him, right? And I'm like, "No, that's okay." He's like, "Is your car okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm just, waiting for a tow truck." "Well, I can take you. I got a shop around the corner. I'll take you. I won't even charge you." You know what I
Hmm.
kept thinking? They're gonna be tying me up in some basement or some cell somewhere.
Hmm.
This was, yeah, I knew that back then. I was like, mm-mm,
Wow,
mm-mm.
that's scary. So, listeners, for you guys just tuning in, we're talking about Black Buddy, a vetted safety network designed specifically for Black people. Let's now shift into Marchelle, how the system, we talked a little bit about how it works, and we talked about how it's different from anything else out there right now. So let's address the big question that people may actually ask because we talk about 911 and the police and things. Is Black Buddy a replacement for 911 or
No, it's not.
okay?
No, it's not. I am not here to tell you to not call 911. That's why I put it down there. Black Buddy is, this is to give you an option for safety.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to emphasize that because we are not medical emergency. That's what we're not here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a heart attack or stroke or whatever, that's what we're not a replacement for, like I said, 911, fire, EMS. We're not guards. We're not guards. We're not your law enforcement officers. We're not your investigators. We're not a professional aid emergency responders just because you're a member, okay? This is not a vigilante network, okay? So I meaning you don't need, this is not to create some kind of gang and we're going to be doing anything unlawful, okay? This is all about our safety in the current situation because since this government doesn't want to switch on the flock cameras or the satellites, and
Mm.
remember, they used the satellites 34 years ago for Rodney King. Remember that?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh yeah, remember? And the technology has changed in 34 years.
That's it.
They used the satellites to identify the guys that beat up the white truck driver and they zoomed in on the tattoos. That was 34 years ago.
Wow.
In those 34 years, we've accelerated with smartphones,
Oh
okay?
yeah.
Because I think we've accelerated with flat screen TVs.
Oh
We've
yeah.
accelerated with drones. We can use Wi-Fi on cruise ships in remote areas. You can even carry satellite with you, and you can't turn on the
Robots.
satellite right now. That's why it's put together. You see, because to me, I know that there's agenda. Also, Black Buddy is not a dating or social hookup application because there's a cute community forum section on there where the only thing you need to identify is about safety or assurance with different cities, towns, and stuff like that. I do understand that there's an app that has one called the Green Book, which I haven't seen it, and I totally respect that. But
Mhm.
if I want to be able to give folks real life information, like if there's a recent I don't know the right word hanging off a tree, I want it identified in real time. Okay, if there's a town where they wave a lot of their flags, that needs to be identified. If they are known for, you see the police with their racist tattoo or signet or emblems, like it's pretty obvious. You see them, it's like dog whistles, right? So you
Yes.
see the SS bolts, you see the number 88 like Heil Hitler, you see the death skulls, you see the number 311, which means KKK. If you see like the pet bulls in an area, they don't like us. That needs to be noted on those places, okay? And we're not a surveillance network. Members, you're not there to casually track anybody, okay? If
Mhm.
you're a member, you can turn on, if you're driving somewhere, you don't always have to have the app on. You can turn it off if you don't want to be monitored. But if you feel like you got to drive from here to say Detroit, and you gotta drive, even if you're driving with your family, but you want other people to make sure you're all okay, because there's some areas you're gonna drive through that's scary, you turn the app on.
Hmm. So now you talked about a little bit that members definitely have to be vetted to do this. Why was that such a non-negotiable?
Because I don't know you, okay? And apart
Right.
outside, so
I like
apart
how
from
you
my
said that. I
family,
don't know you.
yeah, I don't know if you like you're a mass murderer or something like that. And so in order for me to get people to want to be a part of this, they want the assurance and the confidence that the people who are in the network are vetted and not some unidentified stranger. They want to feel comfortable about that. It's no different than, say, you travel somewhere for business and the company arranges a driver to come pick you up. You're comfortable because you work with the company. You feel like they've vetted the driver instead of just sending you some random taxi guy down the street. That's the same thing with Black Buddy. I want you to feel a sense of I believe that the members would have a sense of greater confidence if the person responding is registered, and that's the vetting process. And whomever is coming to them is registered versus some unidentified stranger.
Hmm. Good stuff. Now, what about the areas that don't have enough or any buddies around at all? Has
I
that
know.
been, yeah, has that been discussed
Hmm.
or thought about?
Well, this is how it's going to be. This app is only as good as people spread the information,
A little bit.
okay?
Yeah.
So if you don't spread it out, if you live somewhere and you get access to this app, I would say you should do your due diligence to send this out to your friends, families, and Black colleagues, okay? Because this is only as good as it can be for us to support, right? And
Yeah.
what's sad is, just like Life 360, people have to wait until there's a situation. They're like, oh, let's download this app. And, 360 increase their break
Hmm.
price. We shouldn't have to wait for that. You shouldn't, there should be enough, you know, swinging folks or accidental death on these like rural trips, or they drown by themselves, or they unalive themselves. That should be enough for you to say enough, but it's only as useful how this is going to grow. It's not going to be overnight. So one of the first things that I'm doing is, that's why I want to work with established clubs.
Hmm.
If I can work, and that's why I want to do the beta test with clubs. I need to be with veteran clubs, Black veteran clubs, Black hiking clubs, fraternities, sororities,
Hmm.
Black bikers, Black gun clubs, all of these clubs, because the clubs have a bigger network with other clubs across the country.
Yeah.
So if I can get the clubs in and they can distribute it to the other cities, counties, that kind of states, right? Then
Right.
it's easier for the individuals to want to sign up, because even if there's not a big density, to know that a Black motorcycle club has got this app, you know what I'm saying, in my state or in my city, feels good. To know that a Black hiking club or a Black hunting club or a fraternity, if I get those clubs and they're not far from me, and granted, they're going to be areas you don't. The only, you know what I'm saying? But we're only as good as we can grow. You got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Excuse me. And I agree with that. So now let's definitely be very transparent and real here, because we know that there are certain situations where a lot of the news in the Black community, a lot of the situations in Black communities never make the news. So
I know.
what situations or how would Black Buddy be useful in that, because it doesn't make the news? Like, how would that?
Well, say for instance, so okay, this is where Black Buddy will be useful if you're stranded in an unfamiliar area. Okay,
Mhm.
um, if you have students or young adults, because not every kid goes to college, right? They're
Right.
traveling alone. We've had incidences, not we, but I have research where you have Black soldiers on bases who've been attacked. Okay, missing or unalived. Okay,
Mhm.
solo travelers, hikers, truckers, people feeling like they're being followed, or, like I said, uncomfortable encounters and family check ins. So, not everything is going to be covered, but if we can identify, though, and there must be a I can't think of everything, but this is where Black Buddy can cover you, because right now, because I read the threads, I can feel the energy of how people are afraid. They don't know
Hmm.
what to do, and everybody's like, get a gun. But not everybody is comfortable using a gun,
Right.
okay? We have to be understanding about that. There's a fear about it, but let me tell you something. It gets real comfortable because there's power in numbers.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously, I would love for a whole bunch of black buddies to show up, but I got to be realistic. But just, people get identified easier if they're solo, right? But if you have a couple of other black buddies show up at the same time and they bring some friends with you, whatever they were planning is probably more than likely gonna change. They're gonna rethink that. Also, we can't just be sloppy, meaning I do feel like we're being hunted. So there's
Hmm.
certain things you need to pay attention. Don't try to be the solo traveler if you can avoid it, okay?
Right.
Don't do that. Don't go out there and be like, I'm just gonna go hiking by myself. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't think you're a you're Mr. Mission Impossible, and because if there are three guys chasing you down or whatever, don't. And this is also used if police encounters, because one of the things, if you're feeling like, and I'm about to send an email about that. I got my questions about the police, right? But so I'm going to send an email out, and that's why it's good to subscribe, because I came across a really good post about how to deal with the police. Definitely, you need to try and pull into a place that's light, a very lighted area with a lot of traffic, like a gas station, a store, whatever. But if you can and you're still uncomfortable, I would use the Black Buddy to see if a few other black buddies can show up. And I know you don't want to encounter the police, but at least they can stand from a distance or park from a distance and film what's happening, just to make sure that we get on camera if you are taken, who was the last person to take you, if that happens. Hopefully that won't happen. And I do have plans on how to address that, but that's in
Hmm.
Rev 2, and I don't want to say that right now
Okay.
because people be stealing ideas.
Yeah. Because then actually that was going to be one of my asks on, how does Black Buddy support users who might be in situations where speaking or calling for help isn't safe?
How it isn't safe? Okay, so I cannot say Black Buddy is gonna cover everything. I
Sure.
cannot
No, nothing will.
promise you that. All I can do is add in an extra buffer to help lessen some situation. And in situations where, you cannot find a buddy, and say, for instance, and I would do this, if I get pulled over a cop, the app is in beta right now. I would start filming live so we can
Mm.
see the cop that talked to me. Okay? I will film live with my phone, all right?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to, but I'm not going to put myself in situations like if I'm driving and I got to stop off and get gas, I'm not going to, if I don't see enough melanated people and I pull up and they've got their Confederate flag or they got their pickup trucks and things like that. I'm sorry, these are dog whistles. There's no way I'm going to be like, oh, they got a strawberry picking farm 10 miles down. I'm going to go check that out. You're just driving yourself into the lion's mane. For real. You have to start thinking logically.
And
You can't
realistically.
do, yeah, you got to be
Mhm.
realistic. Yeah. And so I can't save everyone, but you got to there's enough information for you to try to not make stupid mistakes at this point. But I still see people do that, right? Um, I'm not trying to be mean, but I ain't going camping with a bunch of people that don't look like me, and I'm going to be the only one there. I just ain't doing it.
Okay, well, here's a question since let's lead into this. A question that many listeners may be wondering with that statement. Is Black Buddy open to other races and nationalities who genuinely support the Black community and want to help, or is the app solely for the Black community?
Right now, Miss Ty, the app is solely for the Black community.
Okay,
And I say that because I have not seen, I'm not being racist, but
sure,
at the
sure.
end of the day, I don't see people rallying around for the Black community. And people will say, yeah, 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 we care, but you know, the November elections told me enough. The November elections told me enough. On top of that, I don't want to take any chances. And because right now, no other group is swinging from a tree. If they want to help, they can help by funding the mission for real. If you want to
Okay,
help, give money and fund the mission. Because right now, I can't take a chance and hope that you care and you could be an infiltrator or a
mm,
perpetrator. And I'm not saying that because you're black, you'll get in. Because not all black folk is skin folk, okay? Is
mm,
kinfolk. So not all skin folk is kinfolk.
hmm.
So don't get it twisted. That's why part of the vetting process is that well, it's like fraternities. People have to vouch for you, okay?
Absolutely, yes,
So we got sellouts out here. So I'm sorry that we have to we have to feel that you care and you're not pretending because I know game and I know long game.
sure,
I do. I know game, I know long game because I've had friends who were in gangs even though I've never been in a gang, okay?
sure.
I've not gone to prison, but I know people who and they'll tell me the long game, they'll befriend somebody,
Mm,
make you trust them, hang out with them, invite you places,
wow.
and it's all a setup. And 2 years later, and because this is
Jesus.
our lives, and we are being killed, it's not a racial thing. I cannot take a chance. If you truly care, fund the app.
No, I love that transparency, and that's keeping it real. It's like
Hmm.
provide a space for the Black community. There are spaces
Hmm.
provided for other races and nationality before it seems that for the Black community that is often lacking or
Hmm.
non-existent,
Hmm.
right? So, okay,
Yeah.
let's move into we talk about safety, and so many people want to know that, but let's talk about the moment you press SOS, like the SOS experience, because that's where technology meets humanity. That's can be like
Hmm.
the heart of the app. So, walk us through the emotional moment when somebody presses SOS. What do you imagine they're feeling?
Um, Obviously fear, right? So
Yeah,
you could text and you probably, don't hear back. And if you're in I hate to, you may be in a place that it's getting darker, your car's not working, um, you're uncomfortable because you don't know the area. That's when you press SOS, like somebody please come to me or somebody call me because I'm concerned. That's when you press. But you have to be, what I say is, as a buddy, because the buddy is the person who is the one calling out for SOS, and then you have the buddy
mm,
members that react to it. And I say that because that's how I'm going to be talking to the beta test group
love
people.
that.
So if I'm the buddy, right, and something happens where my car breaks down in Forsyth County, I just threw that out there. Um, and it's getting dark, and AAA takes 3 4 hours, and now it's 9:30 ish, and the sun is going down. Don't get me wrong, I'm calling the buddies earlier, right? But now I'm just like, okay, I need something, so that's what I'm calling SOS, and because I'm scared, I'm uncomfortable, right? I'm in an area where I see those flags. So that's when I'm gonna call, right? And maybe it could be a buddy could be like, you know what? I can't come to you, but I do have a cousin that has a pickup truck. Are you okay with me? And they can come to you in 30 minutes. So those are the situations. But I'll sit on the phone with you. I'll sit on the phone
Mm,
with you, that kind of stuff. Or do you want me to call an Uber and you could go somewhere that, you know what I'm saying? And so, and this is the situation. So it could be, okay, AAA is going to take 3-4 hours. The buddy has a cousin that has a tow truck, but you don't have like thousands of dollars to tow your car 100 miles. What they
Mhm.
can do is tow your car to the nearest, or where
A well-lit
a
area.
better town,
Yeah.
a better city that you feel comfortable. Even if they gotta drop you off at Magic City, and you just have to be towed for $30, okay? But you gotta sit at
Yeah.
Magic City for 3-4 hours. You feel
Yeah.
comfortable doing that.
Sure. So do members have to physically respond, or are there like
No, no, no,
ways
they
that
do
they
not
can
have.
show up?
There are many different ways you have to show because I realized if I want this to be a community thing, I'm not expecting everybody to come in and be acting like they're Marines, right?
Sure.
So, you can do it by phone support, you can do it by messaging, you
Hmm.
can monitor the person's shared location. You can, if they want, if they ask, you can contact emergency service because it could be a situation where your car is in a ditch and you're unconscious, right?
Hmm.
So, they can contact emergency, they can be the designated person where, say you're in a car accident, they can contact your family to assure them, okay? So there's multiple ways because you can have a grandma sitting on the phone with you talking to make sure you're okay until support arrives or emergency services arrives or the tow truck arrives, that kind of stuff.
Right. So now I know it has not fully launched, it's still in beta testing, but what do you think someone who will be a buddy feel like who receives the alert and chooses to show up?
I don't know how they feel. I mean, there's a saying, my sister-in-law said this years ago, ex-sister-in-law. She said, it always feels good to help somebody.
Hmm.
And I always remembered that, and it really does. And it's not a question where you feel like, oh, whatever, but when you help somebody in need, it feels a part of you.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that is, you know, if you use the app and you help someone in need, they're going to talk about that app, okay? And not just that, they're going to feel like this really is a community. They're going to feel like, wow, that's what I think. And that's how I would feel. I know if I was in a situation and, you know, the deliverance guy came up to me and it was dark and I called some buddies and they showed up, right? And I'm talking to this woman on the phone, she could be in her 80s, but she's just keeping me calm. She's like, it's okay, baby, it's okay, you'll be all right. And my cousin has a tow truck or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but this man, he's and and it's dark now, just say it's 11, 12 o'clock at night,
Hmm.
and two brothers and a sister shows up, you show up or whatever, because you can show up by yourself if you know the other vetted members are coming, or you may decide not to show up, or you may feel comfortable showing up with your son and your cousins and all this kind of stuff. But if I see that community, I'm going to feel like, damn, I'm cared for, because that's how the other demographics feel about the police for them. That's why they're able to, whenever there's a situation, I'm calling the
Show up.
police. I'm not going to call the police right now because they feel assured by the police.
Mm.
They know that the police is going to be there for them, and all we need to do is sneeze and we're going to get tussled to the ground and arrested. But they know more than anything, they're coming to save them, they're coming to protect them.
Yeah.
I don't have that feeling with the current
Yeah.
law enforcement.
Understood. So tell me, what happens after an SOS event? Is there like a follow-up or an emotional support for the buddy, or is it like it's not that hands-on? You don't want it to be that personable like that. It
No,
can become like the Family
no.
Connect app. Tell us more about that.
The only thing I'm going to do is I thought about this also. One
Mhm.
of the things I want to do, I probably would do like monthly Zoom meetings to bring in about different support. But, depending on the nature of the situation, I'm not going to be heartless, okay?
Sure, sure.
I'm not gonna call you up because you blew a tire, right? And be like,
Right.
"Oh, you okay?" Right? I'm not, but I'm sorry, but if you're in a really serious situation, like, and I hate bringing Rashid's name up. Definitely, definitely, I'm going to, I'm going to check on the family. I'm going to check on you, and all this kind of stuff. And in situations like that, I'm going to be looking at the records to see if we can prosecute some people
Hmm.
for real. Because I don't want to hear, oh, there was nothing. We don't know. Flock cameras are not working, but I sure know how to use the flock cameras to monitor my wife or my girlfriend or something like that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I can bring this up to light. Yeah, so I'm not going to be heartless. It really just depends on the situation. Like, if a hiker goes hiking and she gets lost, and then a couple of, buddies come and they grab her, they get her, whatever, I'm not going to baby you for that. You're okay.
Yeah.
If you're bold enough to go hiking by yourself and people come, you're okay. But if it's like really, something where your life could have been, you could have been kidnapped, or you know what I'm saying, something
Yeah.
serious, I'm not going to be heartless. Like, if there's a situation where there's about 30 guys and they're about to throw a rope over, I'm being extreme, they're throwing
Sure,
a
sure, sure,
rope
sure.
over a tree, right? And you get saved. Oh God, wherever I am, boots on the ground, I'm coming to you the very next day. I'm on the phone. I want to make sure you're okay. And provide you, just the I'm going support, or you for a limited time to see that you're okay and things like that.
Right. So now we did touch about community safety or building community safety. So, and you've definitely shared how BlackBuddy is not just an emergency tool. It is really a community, right? So,
It's a community, yeah.
yeah. So if you're able to, even though it's in a beta stages, talk about a little bit more features that make this network such a family app. And when I say
Okay.
family, I don't family doesn't have to be blood family, right? This is built
Okay. Well,
community.
community. Let's just say
Community, yes.
community.
Hmm.
Okay. So the features that it has is, I wish it's like having your cell phone, and then make sure there's nothing weird on here.
Why?
So it's like having your cell phone and you have an app on it, right? And obviously, once you've been vetted and everything else, now instead of having Life 360 and stuff like that, you're connected with people outside of your family, but they are also Black people because we're all about caring about each other. So you have three ways to connect, okay? Like if you're traveling and you may want to look at the community forum, right, to see it has this town or whatever been mentioned in this place. Is this okay? Can I go eat at a restaurant here? Or are they saying don't eat at it, right? I will be doing monthly meetings. So those other apps don't do that. My monthly meetings is mostly like if there's any app updates, as well as community safety information. So I may want to bring in a person who's I don't know, a hiker to give you some information,
Hmm.
or a hunter or something like that to give people information. And then I will probably highlight some of the updates. Like I will say, there was a concern. I won't mention names. It was in this area. This will happen. These are many buddies come out. That's what I want to do every month to the members. Right. That's what you get as a member. So number one, you can text for support. Or voice to text. Right.
Hmm.
Because not everybody is good at texting. You got older people, eyesight. They can do voice to text. You can do SOS on the app, right, where you can really alert the members in your radius, and you can move that radius. You can move that
Oh,
radius to say
okay.
50 or 5, right? And the reason is for places that are very remote and don't have a lot of density or people, you may want to expand it, because if you're in a place that you're concerned, and your family's 5 hours away, a person may be able to come and connect with you in about 45 minutes, all right? And then also the last on the feature is, well, that's not the last, but the other thing is, if you need to dial 911 because I don't want to say don't use 911. I never
Sure.
want to say that at all. But if you're not getting anything and the last thing is 911, use 911 because your person that you're talking to on the phone, they may not be somebody's to come and meet you. You may be talking to folks on the phone. They could be even advising you like where to drive for safety. They'll be like, listen, you may need to turn here. That's a lot more safer and take that route, these back roads, than over here because that area is not good, right? And then the other thing is the Family Connect on here. The Family Connect, no, there's other thing too. And the Family Connect is for your families, and there's a certain amount of people that you can say, okay, I'm traveling from here to Detroit, New York, California, and you could let them connect with you like 360. They could see you on the GPS, and then say for instance while you're traveling, you suddenly they see that you stopped, right? Like you could have blown a tire, hit a deer or something. They don't know, and they keep calling you, they keep texting you, there's nothing. You see if there's any buddies around that are close by to come check on you, and hopefully they can come, they can, and I'm about to send a video about that. And they can assure, somebody can be on the phone to assure you, or or people can show up to make sure you're okay until emergency services comes to you. And then the last thing on the app is the community forum,
Mhm.
where people leave, and this is where this is on the community forum. You can put a alias name and an avatar face because I'm all about privacy. So in
Okay.
the community forum you have the choice where, because people are like, I don't want people to know that I'm on here, and I totally understand. You want privacy, so you can put an avatar face, and you can put an alias name, and you can put updates about this town is okay, this city isn't, da 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 da, so people can have an idea. And eventually what I want to do with the next rev is obviously do it as a filter. Instead of you scrolling, I can only do what I can afford. So for all those non-black people that want to support the app,
Mhm.
send some money, okay?
Hear that? Send
you
some
know,
money.
send some money, and then people can like filter and say, okay, if this town is okay or if this isn't. But in the interim, like I said, especially in the monthly, I'm going to be telling you, common sense things to look at, like the dog whistles, like I told you. If you're seeing people driving in that town with their bellowing flags, and remember when that was happening straight after Obama left office, and his name was campaigning, there was many trucks with all of that. Those towns haven't changed. They haven't changed. They only removed their flags because they're upset with the current administration. The mindset is still there. So that needs to be noted. I want to know. It doesn't, just because it's not historically. I mean, I can get a database. There's a thing where you can find all the towns that are being considered sundown towns. Yeah, that's nice 50 years ago, but I need to know today. I need it living. I need a living thing. I need to know what's happening today.
Right. So now you mentioned, of course, a couple of the features, which is the Family Connect and the Community Forum. Now,
Mm-hmm.
like only way that individuals can get in that, because for Community Forum, you mentioned that they can use an avatar, etc., when they want that privacy. But these
Mm-hmm.
individuals are still individuals who have been vetted
Yes.
already, who have access,
Every
but they just want to leave like an anonymous conversation.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure we
Yeah.
clear that up with
Yeah.
the listener so they can understand that
Mm-hmm.
still have to be vetted, and the only individuals that have access are people who've been vetted to
Yes.
join.
Everybody has to be vetted.
Yes,
So it is what it is
yeah,
because our lives are on the line, our
right,
kids' lives are on the line, and I cannot just, this is not you just submit and you get in.
sure,
It's not going to happen.
right. So, how does BlackBuddy turn text me when you get there into the structured safety protocol?
Okay, so there's a thing where if you can press a button, it's kind of like check in. I've made it.
Yeah,
So there's a button, and it can, it goes out to the members that you connected with. So just because, say for instance, you're 10 miles from me
hmm,
and you ping me, I don't respond. So I don't get an update. But if I respond, I can respond by monitoring you.
Mhm.
I can respond and I can see if other people are coming to you. So what happens because I responded, okay,
Okay.
you can when you're done, you can ping me and make sure I'm okay. Because a ping could be, I'm driving through this area and you'll be like, okay. So you don't have to call and talk to me. You just want to know, okay. And if anything, if it gets kind of weirdy, then call SOS you, right? So you'll be like, okay, and like I said, you could be on the phone with that person, whatever. But then you don't hear from me for I don't know, an hour, whatever, and then next minute you hear ping, I made it to my location. So
Mhm.
there's no concern. Because I could have stopped off and eaten at a restaurant,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't have to, keep you on alert. I could have stopped off, taken a nap, go get a massage,
Yeah.
go shopping, And you can always ping back later, like, you alive? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm just, eating at this restaurant. You'll be like, okay, well, it's just like family. Just let me know when you get to your location. You can say, yeah. And then once I get there and I say I'm okay, anybody that responded gets a ping letting them know that I'm okay. So they don't have to get worried.
Yes. Now, have you thought about the clever beavers who, God forbid, something were to happen and they grab the person's phone and they start responding? Is there like a
Um,
face thing, or that could be like something that you thought about, like a future feature, or what future features are you most excited about? More
um,
questions than one.
I haven't thought about that about somebody grabbing your phone because that's really because there's a two-factor authentication
Yeah.
and I know, but there is how can I say it for future features. Let's just say, how do I say this? Let's just say they're going to be other items. So if your phone is taken, you
Mhm.
can still connect. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, I love that. No, listen. You have to reserve some things now until it's put into fruition. It's
Yeah,
really
because people
dangerous.
be stealing
Ooh,
stuff.
honey, yes, Lord, my gracious. Okay, so let's pull back a little bit to the future of the Black safety now. The bigger picture, the vision, the impact, and the future of Black Buddy itself. Is the app ready to be launched?
No, it's still in beta testing.
Okay.
We've just finished the UX, UI design, and now we are going into the front end, all the analytics that connect to the front end of it. So, the goal is, and yeah, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to rush. I cannot, I mean, I wish I had thought about this when I
Yeah.
got laid off, right? The goal is I'm hoping to do beta testing in October if everything goes like planned.
Mhm.
The only reason if it's delayed is because obviously I have questions and they gotta correct stuff, right?
Mhm.
Because I want to get beta testers to try it out for about a good month minimum. And then based on that, I mean, I would love to say December, I could
Okay.
roll out the app. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the goal.
Good stuff. Now, what is the larger vision for Black Buddy? Not without revealing so much. Like, what do you see it being like in for the next 5 to 10 years?
Really want it to be where it isn't just a simple emergency button, but it's like a long-term vision for a nationwide infrastructure of trusted community connections that are vetted, connected, and nearby. Because let me tell you something, Miss Ty. Granted, uh, the horrendous issues that we're having with, people are dangling from trees, we're having similar issues in other countries where a lot of black people are missing, right?
Yes.
Both in Europe and in Canada. And so I do have visions. One of the things I want to address, because right now I'm dealing with safety. My next step with Rev 2, Rev 3 is to address a lot of the missing issue also. So I have to do that gradually because Black Buddy, like I said, is good for if I feel safe or whatever. But what about because they won't unleash the flux cameras,
Mhm.
right? They won't unleash the satellites. We have to have another way of using current technology. And I know we have this, these trackers, and I really suggest, and I'll talk about that until we can get to the level of the technology I want to go. If you can get one of these trackers and you can connect it with your family, I would, if you're on a long distance trip, I would use this also as an interim too. I would like it to be where the goal that this definitely becomes a trusted nationwide infrastructure, a vetted, connected in everywhere. That's my goal. And maybe by then, there will be some changes in the system where Black people feel more safer, right? And maybe they won't need it anymore. I'm hoping.
Now go ahead and talk
I'm
about the
hoping.
tag. Yeah, go ahead and talk about the tag that you were just showing in here, because for
Yeah,
those
this is like an Apple tracking
Apple
tag
tag,
that
Apple
people
tag, yeah.
they put on their suitcase. So for I would say for security reasons, see if you can get like now. Then this is what I'm going to talk about in my Zoom meetings, right? That's all about being a. So there's very limited that I talk about on my social media because I know how the social media sites are. That's why I keep telling people sign up, sign up, sign up,
Mhm.
because they repress and they suppress. So it doesn't get much views, okay? And then if they feel something is controversial, they don't even allow you to post it, or they remove it, or they can also remove the entire channel. That's why I say sign up on the website. And also on the website, there's a lot more that I say because I have free range. I'm not suppressed. So this is the kind of stuff I'm going to be talking about because we have to be more conscious. We can't just, unfortunately, the life I lived is not the same for my child. And and I used to go hiking. I'm serious, in the UK by myself. I know that's crazy, right?
Yeah,
I ain't doing that no more. I used to go biking by myself down we got a bike path, whatever. But now it's like if there's not a bunch of people on the nature path, I'm not going down there because there may be some sicko hiding in the bushes. So we have to be conscious about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and even like when I did go biking, I mean, I made sure I had my beer spray and a few like razor blades in my
oh my gracious, you're
Because,
ready. You're
I'm
ready.
out there biking. I don't know.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gracious.
this was during COVID time, right?
Yeah,
And this is when, and I'm not trying to be mean, this is when there was a lot of folks driving with all their flags in their trucks and things like that, and it was very uncomfortable. Even though even though I live in a predominantly Black neighborhood, all I got to do is go 2 counties over and they don't have those flags anymore. But if my bike goes into those areas and there's not a lot of people on the path, I need to feel safe.
understood. Now, let's pivot to pretend that this is your Shark Tank moment or your pitch me moment, right? We already have 911. We already have family
Hmm.
location apps and personal safety apps. Why do we need Black Buddy?
Because sometimes a person you trust is like 500 miles away, and sometimes the help you need isn't necessarily a police response. But with Black Buddy, you need to ask a different question. You need to ask, if you have that, is there someone in my vetted community nearby who can help me right now? That's the difference.
I love that. Now, how can listeners help now? We know that it's still in beta testing stages and you're going through all the motion and the all the different rams of things, but how can listeners help right now in this moment? And what do you need from the community at this stage?
Okay, so what I need for you to do, which would really help, is definitely go to the website. www.blackbuddy.app is exactly as it says, as in black, BLACK. and Buddy, Buddy, one word, then it's .app, period, app, BlackBuddy.app, and sign up. That is so important. Sign up. You can sign up on the wait list or you can sign up as a beta tester. But I really, if anybody is listening, and if you're a part of any kind of club, black club, organized black club, and you feel like you want to beta test, because I'm looking from anywhere from 25 to 100 people in a club, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me if you go to the website. It's support@blackbuddy.app, but definitely sign up on the website. That means so much because you will get information. You can also find me on Instagram or YouTube, but if you go on the website, it gives you, you can click on there and get to those, but definitely sign up on there, because here's the thing. The more people sign up, because it works for two reasons. Because if you just wait to get it in your For You page on Instagram, you're not going to get much. It's not going to show you. It's going to suppress that. Number two, if they get rid of my channel, and I'm not putting much weight. I think they probably will because it's controversial. And then so you would definitely, if you've signed up, because I'm sure Miss Ty, you should have got a couple of emails by now.
I have.
Okay, good. Yeah, you will get information on there that is not even on the sites. There's going to be it's not just about the app updates. There's going to be things that I know, and it's nothing racial, but there's things that I'm going to want to talk about in the emails that I know I can't do on social media. That's just a fact, right? Like talking about what happened with Rasheem Carter. I can't do that, right? But I can talk about things that resonates with us as a black community. I can talk about safety things, right? And then number three, also if you sign up, once this app is launched, because this is everything out of my pocket, if I need to, go to investors for funding, at least I have I have the beta test, and then I also have people who've signed up. I have and I'll be like, listen, this is how many people did the beta test. This is the review of it. This is how many people are waiting, so it helps me in those kinds of ways.
Absolutely. Now, is there any additional information you would like to impart on the listeners that we haven't covered today? And also even about your other business, Power Up. Is there anything else you want to share with the
Okay. So the only other thing, okay, so I'm sorry, I do have another business. It's called Power Up, and Power Up is about health. It's about health sovereignty for yourself. So I have classes on there, like definitely about how to heal yourself, because I call myself the bootleg Rastafarian, right? So I've got a lot of Rastafarian in my family, and they are like medicinal doctors, okay? And my grandmother was a medicine woman. I mean, she could just create stuff out of herbs and do wonders, okay? So I have a herb called the bitters, and I know people have seen different bitters, but the key with this is it's actually root herbs. It's not like the stuff you get in a jar, right? Because that stuff you get in a jar, folks ain't buying that in the Caribbean, okay? I'm just being honest. It's root herbs. The reason why it's root herbs is because the roots have the strongest and highest concentration of medicinal properties. And you brew it and it creates like a gallon. And it already comes in, do I have it up here? No. It comes in its own pouch. You have to boil it for an hour and then you let it simmer for 4 hours. I understand. And then you got to let it cool overnight. But the key thing is this is your foundational basic herbal blend for your body, because it does three things. But the main thing it does is it detoxes you. You can drink. If you drink 2 cups and it's bitter, you're going to go to the bathroom. But if you now, after you detox, you need to maintain, and that's when you drink a shot glass every day. Because of all these toxins that we have, our bodies are not able to properly break them down and remove it out of our body, which is why so many people have so much sickness. It is not natural to eat foods that have pesticides, herbicides, coloring, preservatives, forever chemicals, synthetics. These don't grow naturally from the ground. And so if it's not growing naturally from the ground and it doesn't decay, it doesn't break down properly in the body. And what it does is it clogs your cells, tissues, and organs. It breaks them down, and hence why people have all these chronic diseases. I'm just being honest, okay?
Absolutely.
So what this does, there are herbs in there to remove parasites, worms, helps to remove viral infections, bacterial infections. It helps to clean the blood, and with the liver and the kidneys. These are key functions, because there are people who take herbs and they're like, I took this and it didn't work. It didn't work because your body is clogged with toxins.
No.
You've been clogged for years. You need to remove that, so that any kind of healing herb you're taking, like if you're suffering from high blood pressure and you decide to take hibiscus, it's not going to work effectively if you've been eating years of crappy food, because there's a reason why the bread doesn't go bad after 3 days. If it's not going bad after 3 days, it's not breaking down properly in your body. There's a reason why milk used to be milked fresh. And if you didn't refrigerate it immediately, it would go sour by the end of the day. There's a reason why, you shouldn't have milk. They put things in there, and because of the long shelf life, it's causing a long time to process out of your body.
Okay.
And the longer you leave it, the more it builds up and it breaks down your cells, tissues, and organs. And right now, in the state that we're in, where healthcare is expensive, where people are losing their jobs, with the cost of everything else, you can't afford to get sick.
Right.
We also have a situation where you ain't got no oil. Somebody decided to go to war. Okay? Somebody, you know, the high IQ decided to go to war, meritocracy. And we ain't getting no gas. So you know what that means? Supplies ain't coming through. So what I'm saying is, as a preventive measure, you need to start taking your bitters. I came out with the bitters in 2020. And the reason was because of the plague. That's why I call it the plague, COVID. And when it was going around, I called family back in Jamaica, and I was talking to, actually, I was talking to a friend of the family, and he's a Rastafarian, and I was concerned, like, what should you do? And he's like, take the bitters, make the bitters, take the bitters. It will kill the viral infection. And that is what me and my family, and I gave it to friends. And then on top of that, because of all the different root herbs, folks are coming back and like, oh my God, Marchelle, this is helping me with my high blood pressure. Oh my God, Marchelle, this is helping me with this, that. I mean, I got reviews, seriously, right? This is helping me with my creatine levels and all this kind of stuff, right? And all I know is, in the Caribbean, whenever you get sick, the first thing we do is we try to take some kind of washout to remove the infection out of the body, right? And that's what the bitters does. But also the bitters does is, you don't need to, it's not healthy to have a diarrhea every day. You're not supposed to do that. But if you take the shot glass, it won't give you diarrhea. But that's to keep your blood clean, because one of the things that they don't tell you in Western medicine is, and they used to, but they scrubbed it off the internet, that clean blood is essential to help, to help fight against chronic disease. And right now, with all these restrictions gone, the Environmental Protection Act, so they don't care what we're breathing in because of the data centers. They don't care what's in the water with the heavy metals. They don't care what's in our food. We need to get that stuff as much as we can out of our body. And what I tell folks is, if you're going to take this, you have to change your diet. So if you're not going to change your diet, don't waste your time. Seriously. If you really want to have a 360, and I'm not saying you got to have a vegan vegetarian diet, because girl, I like a glass of wine, okay? I mean, I'm not going to lie, right? But I make sure I take my bitters, okay, and any other things that I need. And what happens is it clears the pathways. It's kind of like the bitters is like if you need to, if you have a car, you've got to maintain the engine so that the oil can flow better and it doesn't get all gunked up. That's what happens with our body with all these toxins, is gunking it up, okay? And that affects the performance of the car. And the car eventually can blow up. And that's what happens when you don't get these toxins out. So that's what Power Up is about.
Now, where can people follow you on Power Up? Because Power Up is not spelled the way it is. It's not P
It
O.
is.
It
It's
is. It's
P O
P O.
W. Yes,
And it's not
WRR. There's no
POWER. It's POWRR.
no. Yes,
Right.
powerup.com. I am on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And I've been so focused on Black Buddy, I haven't really
Mhm.
been focused on Power Up
Understood. Understood.
because that was like an energy, but I got to get back into Power Up too.
Love that. So, again, if you'll go ahead and share how people can get involved with the BlackBuddy app, go ahead and give those handles again, as well as the website,
Yes,
and then Power
yes.
Up, give that as well.
Yes, so with Power Up, it's POWRR, two R's, UP.com. There's no E in it. And it's the same handle on Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube. It's at Power Up. But with Black Buddy, I'm just on Instagram and on YouTube, but the spelling on YouTube is different because it wouldn't allow me to spell out the entire word black. So on Instagram, it's at BlackBuddy.app, the same way as the website, but on Instagram, it's BLCKBuddy.app. But if you go to the website and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see the icon for Instagram and YouTube, and you can click on that. But again, if you decide to sign up, you're going to get the real information
I love that.
for
So
Black Buddy.
good stuff. Good stuff. So now, again, everyone, as you heard Marcelle state, that you can get involved and learn more, join the waiting list, and follow the development of the app at www.blackbuddy.app. Remember that. And then for her other business, which is phenomenal, you're going to go to Power Up, and that's POWRRUP.com. So make sure that you're following, definitely right now, her true and main focus is this BlackBuddy.app. Make sure you go, and there's a wait list. And again, you have to be vetted. So be intentional and ensure that you are ready to be involved and ready to be community focused and help focus on BlackBuddy.app. So, Marchelle, we thank you for joining us this evening. And tonight, we've talked about fear we usually swallow, about the way Black parents pray over road trips, about students walking across campuses that they don't always feel safe, about travelers who know the wrong way exit and could change everything. Black Buddy is not a magic word. It doesn't erase racism or danger, but it does something radical. It refuses to leave our survival to chance. It says, your life matters so much that Marchelle built an entire network around protecting your life. So, to Marchelle, thank you for your courage. And to the listeners, thank you for holding space with us this evening, and in advance for joining the waiting list and getting involved. And to every Black person who has ever whispered, let me know when you get there. BlackBuddy.app is the answer to your prayer. If you love someone enough to worry about their safety, you deserve to be and to have a buddy too. This is Black Buddy, built by us, for us, and for the future that we deserve. Again, thank you, Marchelle.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, listeners, again, we thank you for joining us tonight. Please remember to visit our website at www.hindsightmediaradio.com for more information. This will also be posted on YouTube, so you're able to go listen as many times as you need to rewind and fast forward. But remember, most importantly, you must go to BlackBuddy.app to join the wait list and to be a part of this. And also, hey, put your money where your mouth is. If you're out there and you want to support, make sure you help support financially, because we know it takes money to make these things happen. And always, yes, support is great, but to move the needle, we need the funding to do such. And be grateful for this. It doesn't just take the manpower, it takes the money power as well. We don't just need your black skin, we need your green money. So come on and bring it. You got this. And I know that this will be a movement that you can appreciate today, tomorrow, and forevermore. So we wish you guys the greatness and have a great night.